Are you tired of starting over every Monday or feeling stuck in your health journey? What if the secret to lasting transformation, physically, mentally, emotionally, was closer than you thought? Today's guest proves you can rewrite your story starting right now. Welcome to the Longevity Initiative podcast, where we explore pathways to lifelong vitality. I'm your host, Lisa J. Rappa, and today we're diving into a conversation with someone who lives and breathes the 12 pillars of health and wellness. Rob is the founder of T60 Health, Inc., a certified life coach, a devoted husband, a father, and an incredible example of how to balance personal health, professional success, and family life. Rob's journey is one of transformation. He went from struggling with body image as a teenager to building a thriving health and wellness business that helps clients around the world achieve their goals. Hey, Rob, thank you for being here.
Hey, Lisa, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you could make it. Let's start with your story. How did your upbringing influence your passion for health and wellness?
My story basically really starts from a very, very young age. Basically, from the time I can remember, I always saw my father. He was always my biggest inspiration from the beginning of getting into health and wellness, because he was always somebody who took extreme care of himself, was always working out, was always doing different things to his body as far as exercise regimens, different types of programs, really focused on what he put in his body as far as nutrition is concerned. I always saw him really focus on how important it is and to really dig deep on a healthy lifestyle for a long-term life. So basically, the time I can remember to present day, my father definitely was a big inspiration, and then I had other inspirations along my journey, but that's really where it started, was just a young age, and I really looked up to him and seeing what hard work can do to not only transform your physical body, but as far as what you feel internally as well.
That's awesome. It's great to grow up with a strong role model.
Definitely.
So, you have spoken about your personal struggles with body image as a teenager. What was the turning point that led you to pursue fitness and nutrition as a career?
Basically, I would say probably from the age of 15. I'll start with 15 is where I really started to make that turn of I want to start to take it more serious and really focus on my own fitness journey, because I was always a super, super skinny kid. Always. It just runs in my genetics. My father, on the other hand, my grandfather, his father would always say that he was a genetic freak. They don't know where he came from because he doesn't fit the mold of the rest of his family. He's bigger than everybody. He's taller than everybody. And I got my mom's genetics, where my mom's side is very short, very thin. And I got more of that side. So my biggest thing was being able to put on weight and put on muscle was very, very difficult. So hence why I was always so skinny. And what I started to do was I started to look into different types of programs, different diets to try. And, by the grace of God, I had a lot of friends that were very much involved in the gym and very much involved in their daily nutrition, that when I started to take it very serious, I really started to turn to them as basically like an encyclopedia. I just wanted to be a sponge and learn from them. And it's exactly what I did. And once I started to see changes in my own physical body, it really started to light that fire in me of how can I turn this into something where I'm helping others that were in my shoes. So although my business now, I'm able to help people lose weight and lose body fat and all the things that follow with that, my big focus is dealing with people that are very, very skinny, maybe have fallen victim to an eating disorder, that are now trying to learn how to eat correctly to put weight on in a healthy manner. And that's where my business really started to excel. And I work with a lot of younger kids that were in my shoes, that are currently in my shoes, of being very, very skinny and just not able to put on muscle, and things that I dealt with in my own story. So that's really where it really lit my fire as far as starting a business in that field was just really figuring out how I did it to myself. Now I wanted to help other people feel the same way.
And that's how you got into your mentoring career?
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that in 2019 you founded T60 Health Inc. What
Yes, ma'am.
inspired you to start your own business and what sets it apart from other coaching programs?
2019 was, we were all locked down with COVID. So all the gyms were closed. And I was currently working in a gym right up until right before my birthday in March when we got the call that gyms were closing. And the owners of the gym that I was working for, they were scrambling, trying to figure out what they were going to do. And I saw a perfect opportunity of, I wanted to be a business owner. I just didn't know where to start. I knew I wanted to do something in the fitness field, in the nutrition field, and doing programs for clients, but I didn't know where to start. And then I met a couple people that were very involved in the online space prior to COVID. And I picked their brains a little bit, and it didn't fit exactly what I was looking to do. Then when COVID hit, I said, well, here's a perfect opportunity to give it a shot and see if I can kind of follow the mold of what everybody else is doing, but maybe try to do it in a little bit of a different way to set myself apart. And that's when I started T60. Was I took it as an online space, and I was making at-home programs for clients. I would ask them, what do you have available in your home that you are able to use, whether it's just your body, if you have some dumbbells in your house, whatever you have. Some people have full-blown gyms, so it worked out, but I had plenty of people that didn't have that. So I had to adapt and deal with the fact that not everybody had access to different types of weights and different types of equipment. So a lot of my programs were based off of just people using everyday items in their home or just their bodies themselves. And that's basically where my business really started, was just as an online space. And it blew up during COVID. And luckily, me and my wife, we bought our first house, and I turned my garage into a gym. So I had people coming to my house, which they still do now. And to answer your other question of what sets my program apart from everybody else's would be, I always made a solid vow to myself and the clients that I now have and clients that do reach out to me, is I never look at anybody as a dollar sign. I always vowed that I would treat every single person that ever came to me looking to change their lives as a human being. Because every gym that I had worked in, not every gym, I shouldn't say that. A lot of the gyms I worked in, anybody that would come through that door looking to better themselves, the salesman of the gym would jump all over it, and they would see somebody with money, a dollar sign, a way to pay the bills. I refuse to, and people feel that. People know when you're being genuine. So I always said that if I didn't feel that I was the best fit to get you to where you want to be, I would never, ever, ever take your money. I refused. I would be honest with you and tell you that I don't think I'm the best fit. If I believe that we can do great things together, then we work together, 100%. But you're going to know that I'm there for you, and you're not there to just put money in my pocket. So that's what really sets in my eyes, in my heart, that's what sets T60 apart from everybody else out there. I'm not putting any bad ill will on anybody else's name, but that's just what I believe sets me apart from the rest of the very, very saturated industry of coaching.
It sounds like you've got a very caring, personalized service. And I am sure that that is something that is extremely appreciated. I can see where your clients want to come to someone like you
I appreciate
instead
it.
of somebody that's just watching their watch and wants to go on to the next dollar sign. I think that's awesome. We all
Thank
have
you.
to find our niche.
That's it.
So your work focuses on physical and mental transformations. How do you help your clients shift their mindset while improving their health?
Stemming from my own story. So I was somebody who suffered not anything diagnosable, but I had moments of, throughout my own fitness journey, of dark times and not being frustrated with how I looked and being frustrated with just daily life. And it would carry over to my workouts, it would carry over to other aspects of my everyday life. And I just started to realize over the past few years of training my clients in the fitness realm, is if your mental state is not at 100%, there's no way that your physical body is going to be able to perform at its highest, at its peak. So I started to really think, what else could I do that would aid in not only in the training, but also how I can help people up here and in their hearts to only benefit their physical body as well. And that's where I came into I know we're going to talk about it, my life coaching aspect of my business as well. But what I do as far as helping clients shift their mindset, I always try to have them start off before we actually dive into a program. I always ask them, why are you doing this? What is the driving force behind you wanting to better yourself? And 99% of people have a answer on the spot. For a lot of men, normally if they're looking to lose weight, it's normally because they want to be here for their kids. They want to be able to walk their daughters down the aisle. They want to be able to play catch with their sons in the backyard without being winded or being having a hard time going up and down a flight of stairs at 50 years old for some of these guys. So that's always for them. Women, similar. A lot of times it's body related as far as they look. They want to fit into certain clothes, things like that. But I always just, once I know what your driving force is, that's what I have you constantly revisit when you have those moments of, oh, I only lost 5 pounds this month, or I'm not gaining weight like I wanted to. I'm not looking how I want to. Well, it's unfortunately body transformation. It is a snail's pace at times. Very, very slow. And you have to continue to tell yourself, why am I doing this? And you revisit that thing that you told me when we first met. And that will continue to burn that fire. It'll continue to keep you motivated to keep going. So that's really how I help people shift their mindsets when they do take that step of wanting to better themselves in the health field.
That makes me think about something. We're in a instant gratification society, and as much as we might not want to admit it, we do allow social media and influencers to sway us. So when you have a person that has found their why, that is dedicated, that gets to that week of just feeling absolutely like nothing is going their way, and they're also thinking that 3 weeks ago they should have been 10 weeks ahead. To
Exactly.
me, that could be a hard pep talk. How do you motivate somebody that is not feeling the best, that is motivated, but at the same time feeling like they're not doing what they should be doing because the rest of the world has presented it to them? How do you get them to move forward?
Yeah. So realistically, I dealt with it. I deal with it currently a lot, especially like you were just saying with social media and the influencers and all of these things that are just in people's faces every day, hours at a time. Sometimes it's impossible to get away from it. And what I typically tell people is, remember who you're looking at, first of all. Listen, and this is just being totally transparent. I'll actually give you a perfect example without saying any names. I'm currently working with a woman right now. I believe she's 64. I just signed her a couple days ago, and I asked her. I asked her that question: what is motivating you to do this? And she said, I feel young for my age. I look good for my age, etc. And she's a very, very beautiful woman. And yes, she does not look her age at all. So I said to her, what is your goal? What are you looking to accomplish with doing a program? And she shows me a picture. And it is of this, probably, I would say, probably going high on age, probably a 25-year-old girl from Instagram with an incredible physique, very, very well, very tight, and everything looks fantastic. And she's young. And I looked at the picture and I said, this is what's wrong. This is what's wrong with the world of not only fitness, but just body image in itself, is people have these unrealistic goals, these unrealistic things that they see that they believe are attainable at a certain point in their lives. And unfortunately, it's not really the older generation that I worry about, that I deal with. It's the younger generation. A lot of times it's the guys. A lot of times the young men that I coach and that I do training for, they're obsessed. They are obsessed with bodybuilders and how these guys look and how monstrous they are. And I said, you have to understand something. Those bodies are not realistically attainable to that degree without taking a very, very dangerous step in your life, and that is going into the steroid category. Very, 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 very rare do you find people that look a certain way without any sort of enhancements, women included. There's plenty of women out there that have enhancements as well, that you look at it as an average person and go, oh, if they're doing that, I can do that too. Meanwhile, you're missing a huge part of their life that maybe they're not transparent about. Maybe they're not telling you on social media that they're taking testosterone or they're taking steroids. And then the women, maybe they don't tell you that they have implants in their breasts or in their butts. That you just, there's so many things that are missing. So I deal with it a lot. I combat it a lot, and I just try to tell people you have to be realistic and really, really focus on who you're actually idolizing before you decide to go, that's what I want to look like. Because if they are enhanced, getting to their level without doing certain things is going to be pretty much impossible. And you're only going to make yourself more disappointed down the road.
Not only that, but you can make yourself sick. There are so many women now that are in that arena that are doing explants
Yep.
because they're getting cancer. So even the people that are in their late 20s, early 30s are really in a hard place right now because they've been out there and they've put themselves out and now they're having to have surgery.
Absolutely.
You're right. There is a lot of risk involved with looking the status quo. Yeah, that
Definitely.
is true. So let's turn it to a positive thought. Do you have a favorite client that you have a little success story about?
Absolutely. So my favorite story across the board. So for the record, this client is no longer with me, and it's it was honestly one of the happiest moments of my life. So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of the whole situation. So back in 2017, I was working at a gym, and me and one other trainer were the number one trainers in the gym. We had the most clients, we had the best reputations. Everybody wanted to work with us, and our schedules were always full. And one thing that I always love is I love a challenge. I love a good challenge. So the woman who sets up your appointments for you, she came to me and she goes, "How much of a challenge do you want?" And I said, what are we talking about? And she goes, "Just answer the question." I said, "Okay." I said, you know me, I love a good challenge." She goes, "Okay, well, I have one for you." And she goes, she's going to be here by 12 o'clock. And she wants a trainer. And I want you to be aware that it's probably going to be your biggest challenge yet. I said, "Okay, wonderful. Let's do it." So there was like a little waiting spot in the gym. And I'm sitting there and I'm smiling because I'm not laughing. It just makes me happy. So I'm sitting there and I look out the window and I see this woman walking across the parking lot. And very, 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 very overweight, extremely overweight is the first. I mean, very obviously she was very overweight. And as she's walking towards the door, I looked at the woman at the desk and she nodded to me like, "This is her." And I said, "Okay." So she walks in and I meet her, we sit down, we get to know each other a little bit. Come to find out, she's well over 540 pounds. She's very, very, very big. And it came from a time of depression. She was going through a divorce. A lot of things were going on in her life. And in the back of my head, while I'm talking to her, I'm literally panicking because I'm going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with her? Because I've never worked with somebody like her before. So, but I got that thought out of my head right away. And I said, no, no, no. God sent her to you. So you have to help her. So the whole first session, we got to know each other. I had her like walking around the gym. I wanted to see what she could do. And more mobile than I thought she was going to be. So I figured out some different things. I said, "Listen, we're doing 3 days a week together. The next 2 days we're going to be training. We're going to be working out." And spent all night. I was up all night coming up with a program. I was on YouTube. I was doing different things, trying to figure out what different things I could do with someone of her body type. And I made a program and we started it. And this woman, when I tell you, was an inspiration not only to me, but to everybody who would see her in the gym. This woman did everything that I told her to do, never complained. She took it with stride. And now, fast forward, I trained her for 2 years. By the time we were done working with each other, she was 220 pounds. She had lost about 300 pounds by the time I was done with her. Today, now we got to a point where she was comfortable and the gyms had closed, obviously, so that happened. And she didn't like the online platform that I was working with. Wasn't for everybody. I totally understood. And we basically shook hands and I said, best of luck to you. I love you and continue to do great things. To this day, right now, I keep in touch with her still. She is 167 pounds now. With no Ozempic, with no help whatsoever, just diet and training as her main goal, and she lives at one of the biggest chain gyms now. I won't mention it because I'm sure she's going to see this and she'll know who I'm talking about. But she goes 7 days a week to this gym, and she's just crushing it. So that is my best story ever. That when I'm at any point in my career where I think I'm not doing something right or something's not going the right way in the fitness aspect of my business, she's the first thing I think about. Because if my business crumbled tomorrow, I know I made a huge impact on somebody who made a huge impact on me as a person and a business owner and a trainer and everything I do, and just solidifies why I love what I do so much.
Yeah, you saved her life. You
Yeah, that's
literally
how I like to
saved her
think of it
life.
too.
Yeah, you did. You're a certified life coach. What inspired you to combine the life coaching with the fitness and the nutrition?
I'll go back to kind of what we were saying before of where I felt as if with the training and the nutrition business, I kind of peaked in a way. I kind of hit the biggest point that I wanted to get to besides opening up a major gym. I got my clients, I continue to get new clients, my business continues to grow in that aspect. But again, I wanted to see what I was missing as far as I still have people that come to the gym to work out and they're having a bad day, they're having a fight with their boss, they're having, their kids are driving them crazy or whatever. I started to think, what could I do to help people in the mental space? Because I see some of these people 3, 4, even some people five days a week. So I hear everything from their intimate life with their partners to their children to their jobs. I hear everything. And I'm there as a shoulder. I'm there to talk. I've spent sessions with people for working out, and we've worked out for 10 minutes, and the rest of the hour was tears and them just dumping their emotions and their heart out from whatever's been going on. And I was always kind of there. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I definitely was there to guide and give advice and see where their issues were really coming from. And then I attended a Tony Robbins seminar, and that I witnessed what life coaching really is. And it was that really sparked an interest of, maybe that's my next step without having to go back to college and do psychology and maybe become like a therapist. I'll go one step behind them and I'll become a life coach where, life coaches don't diagnose issues. They don't diagnose mental issues. So we can't tell you that you have chronic depression, you have anxiety. You tell us that you think that you're depressed. And instead of telling you, okay, take this pill, we'll tell you, well, where do you think it comes from? And then we go into where you think it comes from and we dig a little deeper and we go to the root cause and we find it. You learn to deal with it. And then you're able to use those coping mechanisms and things like that I teach you to deal with the problems that may come down the road. Again, it was really just a motive. It was just I've got everybody to where I wanted them to be with their physical lives. And now I wanted to help people in the mental space and dealing with issues that aren't necessarily with the body.
That's absolutely beautiful. So now you're a husband. You have a 1-year-old. Absolutely adorable. I've seen his pictures.
Thank you.
And congratulations. I hear you have a baby on the way.
Yes, we do. Another boy. Yep.
So tell me, how do you balance family life and running all of these businesses?
It comes down to my wife. I got to give the credit to her because she is the best teammate that I could ever ask for. Because from day one of wanting to start my own business and be my own boss, she was the first one to tell me go for it. She was the first one to, anytime finances got tight because I wasn't making money right away or whatever it was, she saw something in me that it was just that constant fire. And balancing life is very, very easy when you have somebody like that in your corner, because if you're working late, or you have a rough month, or whatever the case may be, they're kind of there to pick up the pieces while you're dealing with maybe a roadblock or dealing with a stressful day. You need someone like that in your corner, and I'm blessed to say that I have my wife. And um, balancing our family life, I make sure, and I vowed that I would always be a present father. I grew up with a present father. I grew up with a very hardworking father who unfortunately had to miss some things because of work, but we always had food on the table. We always had clothes. We always had this, that, great Christmases. We had everything. But he was always, for the most part, I would say 95% of baseball games, jiu-jitsu tournaments, whatever the case may be, he was there. And my mother, same thing. They just unbelievable the way I grew up. And I will always keep that in the forefront of my brain of, no matter how busy you get, no matter how big your company gets, how big you become, you have to remember that you have a family, and you will never get that time back if you sacrifice too much. With business does come sacrifice. I've learned that, not the hard way. I've just learned that you do have to sacrifice some personal time in order to grow a company. I'm still learning that and how to actually navigate it, but just balancing a business and balancing life. If you have a good partner and you have somebody who's in your corner all the time, it's very, very easy. It's not difficult at all. So we've worked out we compromise here and there, and as long as you communicate with each other, it's very, very easy to balance life and business. Very, very easy.
That's awesome. So I noticed this theme with you with that you're very big on your parents and your family and keeping that unit together. And when you look at yourself, what are the biggest health lessons that you hope to teach your children as they grow up?
The biggest things about me that I would hope to teach my kids is your body it really is an engine, right? So if you put bad fuel in a car, that car is not going to run for a very long time, if at all. If you feed your body poorly or you treat your body poorly, you're not going to, first of all, it's not going to last long. It's not going to run optimal for a long period of time. And you're going to deal with health issues very, very soon in life rather than potentially at all, but later down the road. And I'm seeing it firsthand now where my father's genetics are, as far as health concerns and health issues are related, he's got a lot of bad genetics that way. And he's now at almost 60 years old. He's now fighting with those on a daily basis. His body is beaten and battered from just, it's all genetics. It has nothing to do, like I said, he was apex back when I was younger. He was an alpha with everything he did, everything he ate, everything he trained his body. And now, unfortunately, the genetic aspect of his life has now caught up with him. So genetics is a scary thing because you kind of get dealt the cards you get dealt. But for me, my goal for myself and my children is you don't have to fall victim to your genetics all the time. If there's things that run in the bloodline, in my case, diabetes is big, colon cancer was big, prostate cancer is big in my genetics. There's things you can do to combat it before it happens. There's things that you can do to avoid potential issues with those problems. Not all the time are they avoidable. Sometimes it is what it is, and you still have to deal with it. But why not do your due diligence and focus on things that can help you maybe avoid those problems? So dietary, exercise are obviously the two biggest ones, and doing your best to stay off of medications. Just try to stay away from taking medications, because when you start with one, it ruins something else in your body, which leads to another pill, and all of a sudden you're living out of one of those weekly pill trays at 40 years old, like unfortunately my father had to do. And if I would have known what I know now, I think I would have tried to help him maybe with some of my own knowledge, rather than always going to the doctors, I would have tried to help him a little bit sooner. But I wasn't in that mind space yet. I didn't have all the knowledge that I have now. So that's pretty much the biggest lesson and goal that I would teach my children.
Well, he's only 60 years young. You've got a long time to help him educate
Yeah.
with the new science and knowledge that we have now. So I know you're going to find a way.
I've helped him already. I've gotten him off. I've gotten him off of 2 medications already that the doctors did
Oh,
not want him
that's
coming off
awesome.
of, and fingers crossed. It's been a little while, and he's still off of them, and he feels fine, and everything still checks out fine. So hopefully, I can still continue to do my own research and things that I've done for him in the past, and maybe we can get him off a few more of them too.
That I am sure that will happen. We have discussed the pillars of health in our conversations. Which one is your favorite to focus on with your family?
I would have to say I'm a big fan of community. I'm a big fan. Obviously, we've talked about family and community a lot tonight. So, but I'm a big fan of community because community is so big with everything that I do, and being able to reach the masses, whether it's in my hometown or if it's across the country or even across the world, like I do with some of my clients now. It's such a big part of everything I do, and spreading positive message, spreading positive information about health and wellness, about mental health. It's it's just a huge part of what I do, and it carries over into my family life. If I'm spreading positivity, if I'm spreading messages with health and wellness, clearly I'm spreading those same messages to my family, as well as people all over the country. So community is probably, I have to say, is definitely my biggest one, my favorite one to focus on, because not only is it a big part of my business, but it's just a big part of who I am as a person, as far as being a husband and a father, and then just being a part of my community in my hometown, which then stretched out to a very large populace of people all over the country and all over the world.
Okay, that's cool. So I just want to ask you a couple of off the beaten path
I
questions.
love it. I love it.
What's your go-to healthy snack?
Ooh. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with I'm a big I'm a big fan of strawberries and berries, and a little bit of raw local honey drizzled on top. That's my go-to, especially lately, because I have a really bad sweet tooth, and me and my wife, we always say that if it's not in the house, you can't eat it. So if there
Ah,
was
that's me.
Oreos or something like that in the house, I'm the first one to say that I'd probably indulge in them. So we make sure we have plenty of fruit, plenty of strawberries, blackberries, but always have to drizzle some of my honey on there as well.
Yeah, well, the local honey is so healthy for us.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely contributes to our daily care.
Definitely.
Okay, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I am a morning person, 100%. Been that way since I can remember.
That's wild. So, what is your favorite motivational quote?
Oh, okay. I'll actually give you the one that I used as my senior quote when I graduated high school. It's still my favorite quote today, and that is, "The saddest thing in life is wasted talent." That's from Robert De Niro from A Bronx Tale. It was the movie. It's my
Ah,
favorite quote of all time because it is so true that I see it a lot, especially as a coach. You see that a lot where, especially the younger age, they're lost. They don't really know what they want out of life, and they don't realize the value that they do hold at even such a young age, that they just haven't found it yet. That doesn't mean that you're a lost cause and you have to go work at a department store for the rest of your life. There's something inside of you. You're here for a reason, and a lot of people never realize, they never find what they actually have to offer the world. And it's sad to say that it's wasted talent. It goes by the wayside. And a lot of people don't realize it until it's never too late, but sometimes it does become too late, especially when you get into a little bit older and you have children or you get married. It's very difficult to take a stab at a business or a new life venture when you have those things now going on in your life. It's very hard. So don't let talent be wasted. That's my favorite quote ever. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent.
talent. That's a good one. What is your favorite way to de stress?
I have a few of them. Working out is definitely number one, and I'll give you my number two is just being outdoors. I'm a big outdoorsman, big bow hunter, big fisherman, and there's no better de-stressifying way to get rid of it than going to the gym and going to work out, or just being in nature. For me is number one, definitely.
Being one with the earth.
Yeah,
That
for
also
sure.
has so many benefits to it. What is the one book you would recommend everybody read?
I actually just finished it. It became my new favorite book by far. I just finished it about a week ago. The Roar Within is the name of the book, and it's by the author Brett Henderson. And it's definitely geared more towards men. However, I do still believe that women could benefit reading it because it gives you a very, very deep insight into a man's brain and what it means to be a man. And what I liked about him was first of all, he's a professional hunter, and he is a men's Christian pastor, and he does men's retreats. He takes men into nature and does all these things, but he relates every chapter of the book to a specific hunt that he's been on, and he relates it to some part of his life and how it connects to being a man. And the book just spoke to me so much, even especially now that I am married with children. It definitely opened my eyes a lot more. But you don't have to be married and have kids for this book to impact you. So, The Roar Within by Brett Henderson, highly, highly recommend.
That's awesome. So, Rob, where can our listeners find you and how can they learn more about your services?
Best way to learn about me and see what I'm doing is through Instagram, and that my tag is at Bentivegna Coaching is for Instagram. Facebook, Rob Bentivegna is my page. Everything I post on Instagram does automatically post to Facebook. So if you don't have Instagram and you still want to follow me and learn and see what I'm doing, head over to Facebook and I'm there. And then for my coaching services, www.rblifecoaching.com is my website, and that'll show you everything I offer for my life coaching services. It also offers you the tag to go to my calendar, where if you're ready to jump on a call with me and learn more about what I offer one-on-one, we get to know each other, see if we're a good fit as a coaching client, head over there. You get right on my calendar, schedule your time, 30-minute gap for free, and we learn and see if we're a good fit for each other. And if we are, and you're ready to take that leap and see the life that you've always wanted, we'll do it. We'll get on it. And then for fitness related stuff, my Instagram is basically my number one. That's where I get 99% of my messages is on Instagram. So if you're looking for a program, you're interested in doing nutrition or training with me on either an in-person basis or through online platform, just head over to Instagram and send me a message, and I will get back to you pretty much right away for the most part.
Awesome. And that I know about you. There are not that many people out there that do that. Sometimes
Yeah.
I wonder if they ever remember me.
Yeah. Yeah, for
And I
sure.
love that about you. Within minutes, usually you are responding to
I'm
me.
quick on the trigger when it comes to
And that
answering.
is so rare. I personally appreciate it.
Yeah,
That was one of the first things that I liked about you
I appreciate it. I'm the
was
same way. I'm the
your
same way.
strong level of professionalism.
Thank you.
And for a young person, that is rare. And
Thank you,
so
Lisa.
there's another place that your parents come into play, I'm
For
sure.
sure. For sure. Definitely. Definitely.
So if you could leave the audience with one piece of advice or encouragement, what would it be?
I'm going to say that if you are looking to change your life, whether it's a life aspect, if it's a certain goal you want to hit, whether that's a business, it's financial, it's relationship, or if you're looking to change your life in a physical standpoint of fitness or nutrition, you just have to start. There's no perfect time to take that leap. And I'm going to give you a direct quote from my late grandfather, God rest his soul. I live by this quote that he said every single day. If you wait till you're ready, you are never going to start. Because if you wait till you're ready, that clock just keeps spinning and it'll be gone way before you ever realize it. So don't wait to start anything. Just take that leap and you'll figure it out on the way down. And that's pretty much all I have to say there is just don't wait any longer to start something. just take that first step and never look back.
That's awesome. My last question that I have been asking everybody is, what do you personally believe it will take to make America healthy again?
People taking accountability for their own habits, I guess, would be the best way. So I'll expand on that a little bit. Is taking accountability for your own habits is you can't blame you can't blame the world for the way that you treat your body. So if you treat your body poorly, like I said before, if you put crap in, you're going to get crap out, right? If you don't move, then your body's going to become concrete and your body's not going to want to move anymore. So to make America healthy again, I would say if the world doesn't want to change its ways as far as ingredients and things that it's putting out there, then it's up to us to do it ourselves for ourselves, meaning find those healthier options, find ways that the food that you are eating is the cleanest that you can find. And then as far as exercise is concerned, there's no excuse in my eyes. There's no excuse for that part of your life to be put by the wayside. Even if you don't want to step into a gym, the world is yours. The world is your gym. You can go for a walk. You can do things outside. You can garden. Gardening is an amazing form of exercise. There's a million ways to exercise. So my way of looking at it is there's no excuse to not better yourself in that way. So exercise and getting a grip on your eating habits is the fastest way that America will make itself healthy again, by far.
That's awesome. Rob, thank you so much for sharing your story and insights today. You've shown us that transformation isn't just about changing your body, it's about shifting your mindset, building better habits, and showing up for the people who matter most in your life. To our listeners, I want to remind you the key to long life and vitality starts with small, intentional steps, and today is the perfect day to start.
I love
Be-
that.
Is that cool?
I love it. That's beautiful.
Before we wrap up, don't forget to complete the survey linked in the description and let us know which of the 12 pillars you're most excited to explore. Your feedback helps us to create content that is truly supporting your journey. And if you enjoyed this conversation, leave a comment below and share your favorite takeaway from Rob's discussion and episode with us. Rob and I would love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm Lisa J. Rappa, and this has been the Longevity Initiative podcast. See you all soon.